Welcome to Wattage Wednesday. Today we're going to test the power consumption of these two rotary tools. So let's get started. So both of these tools are old, but this one's a Craftsman. It's a single speed, so it just has on and off. And I think the bearings might be starting to go bad in here, so it starts to really squeal. So while I'm filming with this running, I'm going to be turning the volume off or almost all the way off. But you'll be able to see the amperage while it's running. And then this one is a Autocraft. It's a little bit longer, but it has a variable speed. So there's a wheel right here. I can dial it up and down. So it goes from 1 to past 6, which says max. So 6 and then max. So then it goes down to 1. But same thing, this one can get loud too. So I'll be doing the same thing. I'll turn the volume down or all the way off while I'm running it. So while I'm running it, you'll be able to see it running. And then you'll also be able to see the meter. I won't keep these on for very long, and we'll just see how much power it uses on the low speed, on the high speed, and under load. So I'll be grinding on a piece of wood, and you'll be able to see that. I'm not going to do it for too long in here. I don't want to make a big mess. So let's look at the Craftsman tool first. So we're on watts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on. We'll let it stabilize so you can see how many watts it is, and then I'll dig it into the wood. Right now we're at 0. So we started off at 57, and then I got up to 239 watts. And that was when I had it almost stalled out. I released it a little bit so I could keep it going. But it still looked like it was staying around the 39 watts. So you see I put a pretty big hole in it already. It was only in there for a second. So let's swap the bits out. So we're going to start off on low, and I will go to high. So low is really slow. So we're at 10 watts. Go up to 2. 18 watts. So I can see on high, it looked like I maxed out around 200 when I almost stalled it. And down on the low setting, it was going too slow. It really didn't change when I stalled it out. So you can see how the speeds vary. So in summary, tools like this, or pretty much any other tool, it changes the power consumption as you increase the load. So the circular saw, as you're cutting wood, it's going to use more power. A drill bit, as you're drilling a hole, it's going to use more power. So this rotary tool, this one, I'll show you the label. But on the label, it says it's 120 volts. it's 1.15 amps, so it's 138 watts. So at max speed, this only has one speed, but at max speed it was 57 watts. And then when I put it under a load, which was a big load, it went to 239 watts. That's almost 4 times what it was when it's not at a load. But what's interesting is the 239 is way higher than the 138 that the label says. Granted, it's not meant to run under that extreme of a load, so you'd probably put a moderate load on there. So I'm not sure how they calculate which number they're going to put on here, but it is odd that they specify 1.15 amps. Like that's a specific number, but that's 138, and we used almost twice that amount. So that was the Craftsman. And the one that has the variable speed, it's an off-brand, it's AutoCraft. It says 1 amp on the label, 1.0. So not as specific. So 120 times 1 is going to be 120 watts. So at max speed, this one was at 60 watts. And when I put it under load, it went to 199. At the low speed, it was 10 watts, but it was barely turning. I don't know what you would use it for on that low of a setting. But at number 3, which is where I like to run it often if I'm doing delicate work, it's 30 watts. And under a heavy load, it was using 75 watts. So where the Craftsman was 4 times the wattage of the free spinning load, this one's about 3 times the free spinning load when you put it under a heavy load. And it's still 120 watts is what it's rated at, and we used almost 200. So again, it also seems like it's underrated. If they would have put 2 on the label, that would have been 240, or probably closer. That would be like a max. So basically, labels, often they're a max, but it's not always necessarily, especially with a motor, because a motor is so hard. If I was to stall it out, it could even go higher. So it is hard to tell. So they probably do rate them generally based on what you're typically going to see out of them. So 120 watts for this one. It's nice because it's got a variable speed, but they both are really loud. So if you like more videos like this, subscribe to the channel up here and watch more videos like this down here. Have a good day.